what's up? Out in the garage, trying to find some motivation to work on the EcoBoost swap. I'm gonna do a little bit of a rundown on it, where I'm at, what I'm waiting on, what parts I'm using, kind of a just general plan of it. So I've got covers back on for the most part, but let's kind of just get into what's done to it, what I plan on doing to it, and what I'm waiting on. So I guess just to start, it is a whopping 4 degrees outside. We got her to about 35 in here. 1 heater, 2 heater, might get the little propane one going, we'll see. It's not too bad right now. Okay, but EcoBoost. 2 liter out of a Ford Edge. Really bare bones, nothing crazy about it. Everything is stock. The only things I've touched so far were I put a Ranger oil pickup tube and oil pan on to make it a rear sump engine, so it clears the subframe. I just went to LKQ and got a dipstick tube, so I'm going to use this dipstick rather than the OEM one that goes in the valve cover. I have a Ford Mustang EcoBoost intake sitting over there because you have to convert it to rear wheel drive instead of the front wheel drive intake. Water tube and water tube to, again, for the rear wheel drive application, just to kind of bring it up here for the radiator. I took the front timing cover off, redid the whole gasket because this motor had like 100,000 miles on it. This is kind of what everything looked like, so all the gaskets were super crusty. So I took the front timing cover off, cleaned it all up, just put in a simple coat of silver and high temp silver, high temp clear, redid the timing. I ended up buying the tool for it, so everything is good to go timing wise. But everything up front is factory water pump. I'm gonna put the factory alternator back on it. I have to figure out what I'm gonna do for power steering, but that'll be a later thing. Turbo, we are upgrading the turbo to a Pulsar. I believe I'm gonna go with a 3067, and I'm waiting on that and the essentially adapter for the Headafold 2 Turbo, because these heads are kind of goofy. So I'm waiting on those 2 things right now. I'm currently still waiting on the adapter plate from GemSport so I can go from the EcoBoost to the ZF that I have. So that's all painted, ready to go. Nothing fancy about it, just this bare bones ZF 5-speed transmission. So I'm waiting on that adapter plate. And then once that shows up, I can actually get this into the car, fitted, kind of see where I'm at. I have the motor mounts for the motor, which I'll probably put on today as well, just so they're on it. Then the only other real big debate is if I'm gonna keep it port, or if I'm gonna keep it direct injection, which it currently is, or if I'm gonna go to a port injection. It's a horse apiece cost-wise. Some people are saying it's better for tuning. Some people are saying it's a waste of time. I don't know what I want to do yet, but the direct injection is kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah, that's that. I had to take the back vacuum pump and high pressure fuel pump off when I was doing timing, so I'm gonna get that back together today. Rear main seal is done. I did the front main seal. Again, I did the front timing cover, oil pan gasket. The only gasket that isn't getting replaced pretty much is the head gasket. So fingers crossed that that has no issues, but I got all new valve cover gaskets as well. It's coming along. It's getting there. My biggest hiccup is gonna be once all this is done and then figuring out what I want to do for wiring, which I'm not excited for. Because that's where it gets really expensive. Because I'm going with the Link, I'm probably gonna end up using most of the stock harness and making a harness out of it, but that's going to be a huge learning curve for me, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but I really hate wiring, so I don't know. We're going to see what happens with that. That's where I'd really rather not spend $4,500 on wiring alone. So I still got time. I still got options. We're going to wait and see. But that's where we're at right now. I'm going to get these motor mounts put on, the back of the engine put back together, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're back like an hour and a half or so later. Got some stuff done, wire wheeled and cleaned up the alternator, this bracket. Everything on this motor was pretty much caked in oil. I don't even have a good spot to show you, but like just caked in oil and oil residue. Like the whole motor looked like this, just super crusty, nasty. I wire wheeled everything. Everything that I couldn't wire wheel, I used one of the little brushes on a drill. Everything got cleaned up. So cleaned up the alternator and bracket, mounted that. We'll probably end up cutting this off because I don't need it because I'm not running the AC condenser. But we're going to leave it on there for now because I don't know what I'm doing for a power steering pump, so I don't really want to screw myself by cutting that off. Got the rear high pressure fuel pump mounted. I took both caps off, cleaned them up. This one I can't tighten down until I put the vacuum pump on. This one cleaned up, regasketed the bottom, a little bit of regasket in the corners, tightened all that down, so that's all done. And the reason that I'm waiting for the high pressure or the vacuum pump is there was a whole lot of like crusty buildup in both ports. This one is still blocked. I don't think that's supposed to be like that. I'm waiting to hear back whether I need to replace it, if I can just clean it out, because I've just been kind of picking at it and using the torch to break it all apart. But otherwise, yeah, vacuum pump, waiting on that. I didn't put the motor mounts on just because I didn't feel like doing that yet. It wasn't really necessary. So yeah, got that done. Just again, taking my time, cleaning up everything as much as possible is the most important thing to me. I don't know, I want it to be nice and clean. That's the biggest thing. I want to be able to tell if something's leaking oil or if something's wrong. So that's where we're at for right now. I might do a little bit more today. I really don't know. So we'll see what else I can get done. Otherwise I might have to get a new vacuum pump. Still, I might throw the valve cover on just on top so shit doesn't get into the, I mean, there's really nowhere for it to get into, but I might just throw the valve cover on top just because. What up? All right, it's been a couple days since I last filmed. Acquired a couple of things. Turbo came in. So Pulsar 3067 dual V-band, so V-band mount, V-band downpipe. It's definitely bigger than the stock one, but it's definitely not massive, so I'm excited for that. Keeping it internal wastegate, so I should have in the next couple of days here the head-fold pipe to mount it to the goofy ass head Ford uses. I went to my local scrap yard again, or auto yard, found a Volvo electric power steering pump, so we're gonna mount that up. I'm doing a bunch of research on controller, no controller, what to do with that, because people have a lot of mixed reviews on it. Found a new vacuum pump because my old one was full of shit. So this is the old one. That port is completely blocked. This one I ended up getting clear. This one has no blockage at all, so I just cleaned it up, and I'm going to remount this one. With that having a bunch of blockage in it, people said I should check these solenoids, so I'll probably pop those off, but I'm going to put new gaskets on the valve cover, mount that off the back here, so I can get the top end done. Still deciding on direct injection or port injection. Still don't know what I want to do there yet. Also ended up finding a electric or a drive-by-wire gas pedal from another Mustang. Okay, so I just wanted to show you all real quick. This was that other solenoid. I took the right side one out and it had the same thing, so I figured I'd show you on the left side here. variable valve timing solenoid. What's super weird is it just sits in there just like this. Like, it just comes right out. So it's not anything crazy, but that's a lot of buildup of shit on there. It doesn't seem metallic. I don't know if this is supposed to catch stuff or like what the whole purpose behind this is, but I'm just gonna clean them up. I'm gonna clean up the top sides here and put them back in and hope for the best. So yeah, kind of weird, but we're just gonna clean them up. They're like 15 bucks to replace, but if they're not bad, then there's really no reason to replace them. They're just dirty. So we're gonna clean them and put them back in. All right, I'm gonna end the video here. Last little update before, or I guess foreshadowing for the next video. Valve covers finally back on. After damaging 2 brand new seals, I got 2 more locally, got them in. I ended up putting them in the freezer for a day. I took a little bit of a red scuff pad and just cleaned up the inside of here. Put this in front of a heater, oil seals in the freezer, lightly tapped them in with the old seals, finally got them in. So valve covers on. Still waiting on the manifold to mount the turbo, and I finally decided on what I'm doing for a fuel system, so that'll be in the next video, but we're gonna leave off here with where I'm at. So engine's getting closer being put back together. Like I said, I decided on what we're doing for the fuel, so next video will be hopefully putting the last couple exhaust and intake side back together. I'm gonna make a video on body side of things for a little bit, and I'll catch up with y'all in the next one.